This conference will now be recorded.
So welcome back again my Oracle 19C DBA architecture sessions which I am giving totally free. So today I think 10th session I'm going to start. Okay. So today we will discuss about the shared server or dedicated server dispatcher. In that, I will show you how to configure a shared server because when we create the database for this sessions or this workshop, it was we choose dedicated, right? If you remember when we were creating the database through DBCA, right? So we know that Oracle database creates server process to handle the request of user process connected to an instance, and server process can be a dedicated server process or it can be shared server process. So it depends on the connection. If my connection is dedicated, so we it created dedicated server process. If my connection is a shared connection, then it will create a shared server process, and also dispatcher process will come into the picture when you have a shared connection. Okay, so now what is the meaning of dedicated server process? Dedicated server process, suppose you have 100 user and 100 user are connected to your database. So 100 server process will be created to handle the request of 100 user. So when 100 user is executing SQL statement, all the 100 server process will be busy to solve the particular or respective user process request. Getting it? But if suppose in 100 user, 90 user is not doing anything, so on that time your 90 dedicated server process will become ideal. So in my database, it is the wastage of resources. Am I correct? Right. So for that, Oracle has given the option to configure the shared connection and configure for those user who are regular user, and it is those user are not part of the DBA team actually, because DBA we required server process should be available. So for that, for DBA user, we prefer to go for a dedicated connection and all. So it depends. So DBA manage this dedicated connection and shared server connection. So when we had shared connections, shared server process will come into the picture, and that shared server process will solve the request of all 100 user. So we will not create 100 server process. We will create suppose 20 server process, and these 20 server process will handle the 100 user requests. So we are utilizing the resources. Okay, so that is the concept of a dedicated connection and dedicated shared connection and dedicated server process and shared server process. Clear, guys? Any questions? Okay. Now, what are the parameters we need to set for the shared server, and which memory we need to check for UG for shared server. So anyone can reply which memory is responsible for shared server. We studied, right, database architecture. So let me answer, please. Which memory will use for shared server connection, if you remember? when we discussed three memory components. We had three memories in our database, right? Guys, please answer. No one is replying in the chat box. Very strange. We discuss SGA, right? We discuss PGA. We discuss UGA. Now let me know which one is used. SGA. Okay. Any other guys? It's UGA, my dear. Okay. So we monitor UGA also when we configure a shared server connection. So as we know that what are the parameters? So first parameter is show parameter shared underscore servers. Okay, so here you can see that shared server is 5. Actually, by default it is 1, and in today morning I have changed the shared server parameter actually, so that's why it is showing 5. Otherwise, it is 1. So first parameter we do shared underscore server. Then second parameter we had max underscore shared underscore server. So how many maximum shared server you can configure, and then how many shared server you can allow. So that is shared underscore server underscore sessions. Okay, so this is the third parameter which we need to check. And then as I said, dispatcher comes into the picture. So this dispatcher is there, and also it has a maximum value. So the parameter show parameter max underscore dispatcher. So by default it has no value. And another parameter is circuit. So these parameters are responsible for configuring the shared server connection. Okay, so shared underscore server specify the initial number of shared servers to start and the minimum number of shared server to keep. Okay, and max underscore shared underscore servers specify the maximum number of shared servers that can run simultaneously. Okay, and the third parameter shared underscore server underscore sessions specifies the total number of shared server user session that can run simultaneously. Okay, so setting this parameter enables you to reserve user sessions for dedicated servers. Okay, and dispatchers basically configure the dispatcher process in shared server architecture. And max underscore dispatchers specify the maximum number of dispatcher process that can run simultaneously. Okay, so and also the last parameter circuits specifies the total number of virtual circuit that are available for solving the request. So if you remember when we were discussing large pool, so in that I said that when you have shared server connection, dispatcher process will come into the picture. It will take the request and it will put the request in request area, and from request area any server process which is free, it will come and it will take the request and it will solve the request, and it will put the result in response area, and from response area the corresponding dispatcher will take the result, and then it will transfer the result to the user process. Correct? Did you remember this? We discussed in the architecture, right? So who was there in the session when I was discussing large pool and UGA. Guys, don't sit ideal. Please at least response in the chat box actually. So UGA, excuse me, is important. Okay, so let me show the practical how to configure this shared server connection. Okay, so first I am saying this one. So first thing this is shared underscore servers is a dynamic parameter. So when you set this parameter, so I set 6 shared server process should be available for my database. So see that shared server process change. Now second thing I want to set the maximum dispatcher is basically oh, just a second. So I am setting maximum dispatcher is 10. Okay, so because it is scope is equal to sp file, so it require bounds actually. Then I'm setting shared underscore server underscore sessions 5. Okay, so missing invalid. Oh, I don't know why 2 times semicolon is coming. Yeah, so it is done. Now second is I am setting the circuit actually. So setting circuit I am doing 300, and then I am setting the dispatcher. So this is the syntax for dispatcher. We do protocol is equal to TCP, dispatcher is equal to 3, connection is equal to 100, scope is equal to SP file. Okay. Now we do bounce the database, and then we will check the query. Okay. So I am shutting down. Now I'm starting the database. Now check every value. This is 6. Now show parameter max underscore shared underscore servers. So it is not showing actually. Now show parameter shared underscore sessions. So it is 5. Okay. Now check the dispatchers. So see that now setting is changed. Okay. And then maximum dispatchers it's 10. Okay, and then circuit value. Okay, so this is 300. Okay, so this is the way you can do the things for this shared server connection. Okay, so let me recheck the query again. So yeah, so see that right now there is nothing is there, so that's why it is showing busy bytes is zero and all. Okay, so and also you can check sessions view. Okay, so here see that 47 user is there, so dedicated is showing actually. Okay, because we didn't change any user setting actually, so that's why it's showing. Now you can also check server is ideal or busy, so we have the query. So this query is telling about the name, dispatcher, service, ideal, and busy. So we had three dispatcher right now. Okay. So this is the way we can configure the dispatchers and all. Okay. So now we can check how many dispatchers we have. So right now we have three dispatcher, and also we can check the current status of the shared server. Okay, I think some mistake in copy. Actually, power is gone in my home, so that's why. Yeah, so see that all shared server S00, S01, S0 root like that. So you will get this output. You can also determine if there is a contention for a shared server process by querying the weight and total columns from the v dollar q actually. So there is a query for that. So see that no request actually, so nothing is there. And also you can check this query for v dollar dispatcher. Okay, space comes actually. So let me modify the query. So see that no busy rate actually. Okay. Now you can also check dispatcher rate actually. So we had v dollar dispatcher underscore rate view. So from that you can query of dispatcher rate actually. Just a second, I'm removing the spaces in my query. So see that connection, connect rate, max, and all variants. So this query is also important. Okay. So if the performance of the connection using shared server are not satisfactory and the current values are close or equal to max value, then you should consider increasing the number of dispatcher for the corresponding protocol. Or also you find that the performance is satisfactory and the current values are substantially below the maximum value, you have configured too many dispatcher. So consider reducing the number of dispatcher. So from this query, you can find out we required more dispatcher or we required too less dispatcher. So this query is very important. And also UGA is very important because UGA is space used by user connection. So that's why we need to check UGA regularly, and according to that space is there. uh, just give me 2 moment. I need to enable the light actually. Uh, Inverter is working. Just a second. Yeah, guys. Let me edit the query. So see that total session memory is 3084840 bytes actually. Okay, and how many UGA space used by all user, you can also check by another query. Uh, just a second. So this is the query. So total session memory is used by the user, that is 304377760. Okay, and now maximum usage by used by all user. So let me give you another query. So this query is important when you are tuning the UGA actually. So it is actually performance tuning part, but I need to show that. That's why so total maximum memory is used by all user is 56830,184 bytes. Okay. So for all Oracle shared server connection, you need to compute the amount of space required for all shared server user to put their session memory in the shared pool. If needed, increase the shared pool sizes. Okay, so let me show you what is the shared pool. So here shared underscore pool underscore size is 0 because we are using automatic shared memory management. So what is the parameter? By that we know that okay, my database is using automatic shared memory management. Guys, answer me. Please reply. SGM exercise. Show parameter SGA underscore target there. So see that target is 1 GB. So it means automatic shared memory management is used by. Okay. So if you required, you can set the shared pool size by alter system set command. So see that this is the way you can set this specifically. So always 200 MB is bound to shared pool size instead of using automatic shared memory management. Got my point? Okay, it is not resetting. Shut immediate. You know this reset command? Anyone use that? Alter system reset command to reset the parameter value to its default value. If suppose you don't know, have you heard? Oh, no one used that? Strange. So see that it's gone, right? So it require actually bounce. Got it? So this is the way you can enable the shared server, and you can uh, use the dispatchers. Okay, so how you can define the shared server? Suppose for OLTP application, when the rate of request is low, or when the ratio of server usage to request is low, the connections to servers ratio could be higher. But in contrast, the application where the request is high or shared server usage to request ratio is high, the connections to server ratio could be lower. So PMON process cannot terminate shared server below the value specified by shared underscore server. So you can use this parameter to stabilize the load and minimize strain on the system by stopping PMON from terminating them and then restarting the shared server because of the load. So if you know the average load on your system, you can set shared underscore servers equals to optimal value. Suppose you have telemarketing center where 1,000 agents are working. So on an average, each agent spend 90% of the time talking to the customer, and only 10% of the time they search and update the record. So for this consideration, DBA can set the shared server is 100. So 100 server process will be available to solve the 100,000 agent request. But we know that at same time not everyone will perform the work. So suppose in night shift only 200 agents are needed. So because shared server is a dynamic parameter, so DBA can reduce shared server to 20 at night. So like this way, DBA can manage the shared server. Actually, he can increase, he can decrease, right? Because whenever the shared server become inactive, so pmon will marked as inactive, and then pmon will terminate. And suppose again it required, then again pmon will spawn it. So that's why your load will be increase and all. Okay, clear? And the process limit is actually set by the process initialization parameter, and minimum number of free process slots, basically at least 1/8 of the total process slots, or you can say two slots if process is less than 24. Okay, so remember these things. And the primary reason to limit the number of shared servers is to reserve resources such as memory and CPU time for other process. Okay, like I said, in telemarketing center we enable 100, but in night we disable 80 and only 20 is available, right? So DBA should take care of this. And protecting shared memory, so we use circuit initialization parameter. So that is also responsible for, so because it will create a virtual circuit. In virtual circuit, you had response area and request area, and dispatcher also you can set by dispatcher is equal to protocol equals to TCP actually. So we had many attributes we can use. So some attributes are called address, description, protocol. So these attributes we can use actually for uh, adding this changing the attributes of dispatcher. So I am posting in your chat box so you can note it. Okay, so these attributes we use, and also some optional attributes are dispatcher, connection, sessions, listeners, multiplex, and services. So these attributes also we can use when we are setting the dispatchers. So what are those attributes? Address basically specify the network protocol address of the endpoint on which the dispatcher listen. Description basically specify the network description of the endpoint on which the dispatcher listen, including the network protocol address. And protocol basically specify the protocol which the dispatcher generates a listening endpoint. Okay, and dispatchers basically specify the number of dispatchers to start. Connections basically specify the maximum number of network connection to allow for each dispatcher. So if we set 20 connections, so one dispatcher will take 20 connections. So like that you can limit. And sessions attribute if you are using, so it will specify the maximum number of network sessions to allow for each dispatcher. And listener specify an alias name for the listener with which the LREG process register dispatcher information. LREG process introduced in 12C when we covered process, right? We covered already in architecture. And multiplex used to enable the Oracle connection manager session multiplexing feature. So I'm not talking about the connection manager. And service basically specify the service names the dispatcher register with the listener. Okay, so how you will determine the number of dispatcher? So there is a formula which is equal number of dispatcher equals to maximum concurrent session divided by connections for each dispatcher. So this formula I am posting you. So suppose you have 9,970 connection and maximum 4,000 sessions are concurrently connected. So 4,000 divided by 970, right? So you will get how many dispatchers? If you divide 4,000 divided by 970, let me take the calculator. So around five dispatcher process we required. Okay, so we set five dispatcher process. So you can set like this. The syntax will be like this. Okay, dispatchers equals to prot equals to TCP disk equals to 5, right? So by alter system set command, you can set that. So you can use the host name also when you are setting the dispatcher. So that syntax will be like this. Okay, you can set the port also. So the syntax become like this. So this is the way. So if you have so we have v dollar q v dollar dispatcher underscore rate. So already I had given the executing the query. excuse me. Okay, so you can shut down the dispatcher also. So let me show you one query where it is. Yeah, select. So see that we had these dispatcher D0, D01, D02. So I need to shut down one dispatcher. Okay, so how you will shut down? So by alter system command. So now again check the query. So see that my dispatcher 2 is gone. Got it? Now shut immediate startup, and then we check this query again. So see that 2 comes, right? You can shut down the dispatcher by alter shutdown command. You can use alter shutdown immediate also. Okay, so we use that immediate, so immediately it will shut down. So mm, some space issue. Yeah, so see that name dispatcher services. Okay, and ideal busy, so you can execute this query. Okay, so how to disable the shared server? You can set shared server equals to 0, so it will disable the shared server uh, connection. Okay, so like this. Oh, I miss the set command actually. Show parameter shared underscore. Okay, so if you didn't remember, so share underscore server becomes 0. Now check this query, this one. So it is available because we set the dispatcher actually, so that's why it's not gone. Okay, so v dollar dispatcher, v dollar dispatcher underscore config, v dollar dispatcher underscore rate, v dollar queue, v dollar shared underscore server, v dollar circuit, v dollar shared underscore server underscore monitor, v dollar sga, v dollar sga stat, v dollar shared underscore pool underscore reserved. So these views we can use for this purpose when we are configuring the shared server actually. Okay, clear guys? So circuit, so it is 300. So I want to reset, so I will use this command reset. Okay, I want to reset maximum shared server. cannot find entry to delete in SP file. So suppose if it is not set, it will not delete. Okay, so then another reset command is shared underscore server. So that already we did 0 actually, but by default how many it is, so I will show you. Okay, so this is the way you can reset the parameter to its default value if suppose you don't know what is the default value. Now shut immediate and start the database and recheck the values of these parameters. Okay, it's very strange you guys don't know about the reset parameter. I studied in 9i actually in 2002, almost 21 year back. Oh, so now I will check first show parameter shared underscore servers. So we set 0 and we reset default value. So see that shared server is 0 and max server it didn't find anything, so it not change. And shared server sessions, so see that it is 5 and show parameter circuit, so it's gone. It was 300 but now it's gone guys, right? Show parameter dispatchers, so dispatcher gone. Okay, but maximum dispatcher is 10, so dispatcher syntax is gone, right? Clear guys? So this is the way we can handle a shared server connection if suppose we are not creating on the time of database creation. Got it guys? So that's it from my side. I hope today's session is uh, something learning from you guys. So thank you guys. If you have any questions, you can ask.